Welcome to this visual explainer. Today, we're diving straight into an epic that is honestly so much more than just a story about a throne. We're unpacking the Mahabharata, a massive, ancient, and incredibly complex web of human psychology, morality, and strategy.
So you really have to ask yourself, was this monumental conflict just some massive ancient war over land? Or is it actually the greatest mirror ever created, reflecting our own internal battles of right and wrong? Keep that question in the back of your mind as we go, because everything we uncover today is absolutely going to challenge what you think you know about duty and deceit.
Section 1. Foundation of the Kuru Dynasty. To really understand the climax of this whole epic, we've got to start right at its roots. And let me tell you, the lineage gets chaotic fast. It all kicks off with the powerful King Shantanu of Hastinapur and his tragic romance with the river goddess Ganga. Shockingly, she drowned their first 7 children just to free them from a celestial curse. When Shantanu finally couldn't take it anymore and stopped her, she spared their 8th son, Devavrata. But then Shantanu falls in love all over again, this time with a fisherwoman named Satyavati. Her father's strict condition for the marriage? Only Satyavati's bloodline gets to rule. Fast forward a bit, and to save this dying royal bloodline, Satyavati demands the ancient surrogate practice of niyoga by sage Vyasa. And that results in the birth of the blind Dhritarashtra, the pale Pandu, and the incredibly wise Vidura.
Now, to actually allow his father Shantanu to marry Satyavati, Devavrata makes a truly terrifying vow. He completely renounces not just his claim to the throne, but his right to ever have a family. It's this extreme, almost unnatural act of devotion, and it earned him a legendary name that still echoes through history today, Bhishma, which literally means the one who took a terrible vow. And trust me, it's a vow that's going to haunt this entire kingdom.
Section 2. Kauravas and Pandavas.
As the generations move forward, this royal house splits right down the middle, creating 2 distinct, fateful rival factions, and the family divide is honestly striking. On one side, we have the Kauravas. That's 100 sons born to the blind king Dhritarashtra, led by the eldest, Duryodhana. Then on the other side, we've got the Pandavas, just 5 sons led by the righteous Yudhisthira. Now, because King Pandu was cursed to die if he ever embraced his wife, Queen Kunti had to use a secret boon from sage Durvasa. She summoned the gods themselves, bringing divine genetics directly into the royal lineage to birth these 5 Pandava brothers.
As you can probably guess, having literal demigods for cousins wasn't exactly easy for Duryodhana to handle. His extreme jealousy eventually leads to the Lakshagriha. Now, this wasn't just a house, it was a highly flammable wax palace. Basically, a brilliant but deadly architectural conspiracy designed by Duryodhana and his uncle Shakuni to burn the Pandavas alive in their sleep. Luckily, the Pandavas narrowly survived by digging a secret underground tunnel out of there. But at this point, the political tension is officially a desperate fight for survival.
Section 3. Deceit, Trickery, and Cheerheron.
So the rivalry soon shifts from political envy and secret assassination attempts to something deeply personal, face-to-face humiliation. The point of absolute no return happened at this magnificent, illusion-filled palace built by the Pandavas, known as the Maya Sabha. Duryodhana, totally confused by the architectural illusions, ends up falling into a pool of water thinking it's solid floor. And the Pandava's wife, Draupadi, laughs and openly mocks him, saying, "A blind man's son is also blind." Ouch. That single, sharp insult struck such a deep blow to Duryodhana's fragile ego that it ignited an absolute, unquenchable thirst for revenge.
And that revenge takes the form of a deceitful, completely rigged game of dice. The Pandavas end up stripped of their wealth, their kingdom, and even their freedom. But it raises a really profound moral question. When Draupadi's dragged into the royal court, she asks the silent, supposedly righteous elders exactly that. If Yudhisthira had already lost his own freedom and become a slave, how could he possibly wager her? It's this massive moral deadlock where the established laws of society completely and utterly fail a woman in danger.
What follows is the horrific Cheerheron, where they attempt to publicly strip Draupadi only for her modesty to be miraculously protected by Lord Krishna with an endless stream of cloth. But the trauma of that moment leaves a deep, deep scar, and Draupadi makes a chilling vow. She refuses to tie her hair until some very specific, bloody conditions of revenge are met, washing it in the blood of Dushasana's chest and seeing Duryodhana's thigh broken. From this exact moment, war isn't just a possibility anymore. It is a guaranteed certainty.
Section 4. Kurukshetra and Gita knowledge.
After a brutal 13-year exile, the Pandavas finally return. A final peace offering asking for just 5 villages is arrogantly rejected by Duryodhana. So war is officially on. But before it begins, both sides go to seek Lord Krishna's help. Duryodhana eagerly chooses Krishna's massive, heavily armed Narayani army, thinking sheer numbers will guarantee him a victory. Arjuna, however, he chooses an unarmed Krishna purely as his guide, even though Krishna explicitly vows not to lift a single weapon. You see, Arjuna values divine guidance and truth way over sheer military might.
But when Arjuna actually gets to the battlefield and sees his own grandfather, his teachers, and his cousins standing across from him, his heart just breaks. He literally drops his weapons. To cure this devastating moral paralysis, Krishna delivers the Bhagavad Gita, establishing a profound philosophy. He explains that the soul is eternal. You have to do your duty without attachment to the results. And crucially, sitting back and doing nothing when evil is happening is in itself evil. Arjuna has to fight. As the war rages on, a really clear pattern starts to emerge among the mightiest Kaurava commanders. They aren't defeated by physical skill alone. On day 10, the invincible Bhishma falls because Arjuna uses Shikandi, a warrior-born female, as a human shield. Knowing Bhishma's vow absolutely prevents him from striking a woman. Later on, the great teacher Drona is disarmed. And finally, the mighty warrior Karna is killed while helplessly trying to pull his chariot wheel out of the mud.
Let's actually look a bit closer at Drona's defeat because it's fascinating. To break Guru Drona's spirit, the notoriously truthful Yudhishthira tells a half-lie. He loudly proclaims, Ashwathama is dead, which, yes, is the name of Drona's son, but it was also the name of an elephant they had literally just killed. He mutters the elephant so softly it gets completely drowned out by the war horns. Drona drops his weapons in sheer grief and is killed. It's a striking moment of moral ambiguity, right? Showing us that sometimes truth is manipulated for the greater good. And then there's Karna. When Karna's wheel gets stuck in the mud, he suddenly begs Arjuna to follow the rules of war and pause the fight. But Krishna steps in. He reminds Karna of his hypocritical silence when Draupadi was humiliated in court, and when Arjuna's young son Abhimanyu was brutally slaughtered by multiple warriors at once. The hard truth here? Misguided loyalty to an evil friend strips away your right to demand fairness. So Arjuna takes the shot.
Section 5. End of War and Lessons.
The war inevitably grinds down to a bloody, grief-stricken conclusion, leaving a pretty hollow victory for the surviving Pandavas. The final duel comes down to Bhima and Duryodhana. Now, mace combat has very strict rules. You absolutely cannot strike below the waist. But, on Krishna's cue, Bhima shatters this rule, smashing Duryodhana's thighs to finally fulfill Draupadi's ancient vow. It's a brutal end, but it demonstrates a heavy lesson. Destroying deep-rooted systematic evil sometimes requires crossing established lines and breaking the very rules that the wicked use to shield themselves.
In the aftermath of it all, everything comes down to the number one. After a long, sorrowful reign, the Pandavas journey up the Himalayas towards heaven. One by one, they all fall and die along the path due to their subtle human flaws, things like pride, vanity, favoritism. Only Yudhishthira makes it all the way to the top, and he's accompanied by exactly one stray dog. When the gods tell him that the dog cannot enter heaven, Yudhishthira flat out refuses to abandon it, proving his ultimate compassion. And that single dog then reveals itself as the god of Dharma.
So what are the ultimate takeaways from this massive epic? Look at Bhishma. Rigid, unquestioning vows can accidentally force you to support outright injustice. Karna teaches us that loyalty is a great trait, but loyalty placed above morality is entirely destructive. Arjuna shows us that the greatest battle isn't with swords. It's fighting our own inner fears and attachments. And Draupadi stands as a timeless warning. The disrespect and degradation of women is the absolute fastest route to a society's complete downfall. Which leaves us with one final thought. We see these same exact flaws, ego, greed, complex moral dilemmas, and the struggle to just do the right thing, playing out in our boardrooms, our politics, and our personal lives every single day. If human behavior hasn't really changed, has the Kurukshetra war ever really ended? Or are we just fighting it on a different battlefield? Take a moment to think about that, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.